I could change seeing my dad, I would probably change the time so we could see him more often and see him a lot.
Something that I want somebody to know about my father is that just because he's incarcerated, that doesn't mean that he's a bad person.
I had experience visiting my mother when I was a child. The police came in, took my mother out of my home, and dragged her off to jail. Due to some situations and circumstances that my mother got involved with. It wasn't a great experience going to visit my mom, due to the fact that I had to watch them come and take my mother out of the home and then have to go visit her. And in the process of going to visit her, there was always a problem with me getting in.
Most of the people that are incarcerated and have record, the whole family has record, you know what I mean? And we don't have nobody else to bring their kids. You know, we are family. It was hard for my son to come and visit me because my family can bring him to visit. When he was little, it's a little area for playground, and we all over there playing and all that stuff, and nobody's watching. If it's at the safety issue, everything can happen in that area. Why, when they are watching at the table and he's here and I'm here, what is the problem? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They come in, we already have a bias against them that they're scum. You know, a lot of times we'll refer to them as job security, you know, little things like that because, you know, I mean, sometimes they come in and they're nasty, they don't understand, they can be mean, they can already be fired up. There's already that kind of fight going on that's even before anything ever happens, there's that tension between officer and inmate, and then that also extends to the family.
Some things that we talked about is him coming out of jail, having fun, and being a better man.
I'm 8 years old and me and my mom are sitting in the waiting room. And when you get there, you first walk into this one building and there's guards with guns all around you. And you walk up to a desk and you fill out some paperwork and then you sit and wait until they're ready. Because if you don't get there like a half hour before visiting time, you're gonna lose your time. And there's everybody else trying to visit too. And then you go into a room that you get locked into, a very small confined room where only like 20 people can fit in, and that's all the visitors, and you walk into the visiting room. Now, my father at the time, it was probably about a month after he went away, he had non-contact visits. And when they brought him out, he had his hands cuffed to his waist, and I ran up to my dad to give him a hug. I'm 8 years old. I'm giving my dad a hug, right? As soon as I wrapped my arms around him, a guard was like, "Hey, stop that!" And then they grabbed my dad and threw him behind a door, and that's when I got to talk to my dad for the first time through class on a phone.
In my opinion, I think the DOC is training the COs to be more militant. They train them to be disrespectful. They train them to treat people like dirt, so they won't come back to jail.
Any facility is a ticking time bomb. You know, anything can set it off, and it's one of the things they teach the officers coming in. At any time, those inmates can take control of the facility. You know, you're talking about 30, 40 officers running a facility of 2,000 inmates. You know, I mean, we're completely outnumbered. So respect and understanding is what is going to keep that place under control.
A lot of the violence comes from undealt with anger. And a lot of it comes from the way that the COs talk to and degrade other inmates, man. Talk to them like they're trash, like they're nothing, man. I just believe that they should screen their correctional officers better, and they should train them on how to treat people as humans,
You know, if any visitor goes home and then they get a phone call, you know, from the guy that's doing his time, and they find out that somebody was nasty, you know, I mean, the inmate's gonna eventually see that officer, or he might take it out on somebody else.
I take my granddaughter up to visit with her dad so that she can, you know, at least have some type of relationship with her father. She'll get a book and insist that her dad reads to her, you know, which, you know, I'm sure lets my son know, you know, that that's something that's important to her, having her father read to her. She doesn't want me to read to her. She wants her dad to read to her, you know. I'm like, okay,